Hi, you're with Chandeep at Goodly once again, and in this video we're going to take a look at bottom N analysis using DAX. Now, just like the top N function, there isn't a bottom N function in DAX. So we're going to take a look at how can you do a bottom N analysis in Power BI. Now, in case you don't know about the top N function of DAX, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly leave a link underneath the video so you can take a look at the top N analysis and how that works. But in this video, let's just take a look at that. If you want to do anything from the bottom, how can you do that in Power BI? Before I do anything in the video, I want to explain you the data and the data model first. So let's just take a look at that. So we have a very simple data model here. We have two-dimension tables, which is the products and the calendar, and we have one fact table, which is the sales table. Let's just take a look at these. So we have the sales table here. The sales table has just three columns. We have the date of the sale, we have which product was sold, the product ID, and how many units were sold. Nothing too complicated. And in the products table, we have the product code, which is obviously linked to the sales table product. We have the name of the product and the price of the product. Now, obviously, when you multiply the price of the product with the units, which is there in the sales table, we will get total sales. In a pretty standard calendar table, you can also call this as a date table. I'd like to call it as a calendar table. And what I've done is I've created a very simple total sales measure, which is nothing but sum x, go in every single row of the sales table, do a VLOOKUP for the price, multiply the price with the units. That gives me my total sales. And here in the pivot table, I have year, I have month, and total sales measure, which I have just shown it to you. Now let's proceed from here on. Let's just say that against the month and the year, I also drag the name of the product from my products table. So I'm going to get the products in the products table and expand it. And we have sales by product, by month, and by year. Now, if you take a look at this matrix here, we would find that we have the least selling product as free ebook. And if you noticed in the products table, ebook was listed as 0 price. That means the sales of this product will always be 0, and I'd like to not count that. What I'd like to find is the sales of the least selling product, which is not 0. Ebook on R is that product which is 13.5, is the least selling product which is not 0. Let's just take a look at the month of Feb. We have in the month of Feb chart template which is not 0 as the least selling product. Now obviously I can take a look at the least selling product when I drag the products in the sales table, but let's just say that if I remove the products from here and I have total sales of the month as nearly $1,200, what was the sales of the least selling products? I should see 13.5 here. Now that is something that you can do it with a bottom N, but we don't have a bottom N function just like a top N function. So let's just see that how can we get that done. I'm going to create a measure and call this measure as least product sales. I want to create a table. In that table, I will only have the least selling product, and I'd like to calculate the sales for that. I'm going to use the filter function. The filter function returns a table. So I'm going to say, hey, filter the products, and in every single row of the products table, why don't you do a rank? And once you do a rank them in the ascending order of the sales. So I'm going to use the rank x function and rank x in the products. The expression that I want to use in the rank x function is nothing but total sales, which I've already created, nothing in the value. The order is ascending order, and ties, we write dense for ties. All right, let me explain you real quick. What is happening is that I am going in every single row of the products table. In the products table, I'm doing a rank for every product in the order of total sales, arranging them in the ascending order of total sales. That means the worst selling product is going to come up on the top, and then I create a table on that. Now, obviously, I'd like to have only those products in this table which are the least selling products. So I can say that the rank equals to 1. But if I say rank equals to 1, that means that I'm picking the worst selling product, which could also possibly be 0. So what I'd say is that the rank equals to 2, which means that I will get the second least selling product, which is not equal to 0. Now obviously filter function is going to give me a table which will just probably have 1 or 2 rows in case there are ties, but I'd like to find the total sales for that. So I'm going to wrap this function around the calculate function, and I'm going to say calculate nothing but total sales, and total sales for this filter table, close the bracket, press enter, and that is my function that is going to give me the sales of the least selling product. Let's just drag that into the pivot and let's see what happens. And just like we expected, we have the total sales of the month and the sales of the least selling product. All right, you show this to someone, and obviously the next question that is coming to you is, this is good enough, but can you tell me the name of this product? Which product was this product which is the least selling product? Now obviously we got to find the name of the product, and when you're trying to find the name of the product, the sum x function would not work. Any of these functions that give you a number would not work, because we want to find a text. The function that we're going to use now to get the name of the product is concatenate X. I'm going to create another measure and I'm going to call this measure as least selling product. Okay, concatenate X will work like just any other X function, which will have two critical inputs. The first input is the name of your table and the second input is the expression. So the name of my table is not the products table, but I'd like to get the filter table only, right? So I'll write a filter function and I'm going to say go in every single row of the products table, and in every single row of the products table do again a rank X, the same thing that we have just done against the products in the order of total sales, and the order is ascending. And for ties, I'm using dense. I'm saying that keep only those products which are ranked as number 2. And from this table that we have got here, which will just have those products which are ranked as number 2, I'd like to find out the name of the product. And as an expression, what I'd like to do is I'd like to get the name of the product. And we have a column in the products table as the name of the product. I'm just going to pick up that, close the bracket, press enter. Now let's see what happens. When I drag this measure in my pivot table, what do I get? I get the name of the product. That means ebooks on R was correctly the least selling product in the month of Jan. We saw that. So this is absolutely amazing. I'd like to tweak the question a little and I'd like to get the names of the 3 least selling products. All right, so I'm going to come here, write another measure and say 3 least selling products. Now this measure is going to be absolutely the same. It's just the ranking of the products which is going to change. So I'd like to keep the rank 2. I'd like to keep the rank 3. And I'd like to keep the rank 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the same measure that I've created a while ago. So I'll press Ctrl C. I'll come here. I'll paste this measure right here. And the only change that I'm going to make is that I'd like to not only keep rank 2, but also keep rank 3 and rank 4. What I'm going to do is I'm going to declare a quick variable here because I'm going to use this rank function again. So I'm going to say variable ranked, and this is the calculation of my variable, and then I'm just going to use the return here and I'm going to say rank should be greater than or equal to, and the second criteria is rank should be less than equal to 4. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a table which will have the rankings between 2 and 4 and then get me the name of the product. Nothing else, nothing too complicated. So I'm just going to drag this measure to my pivot table. Let's just see what happens. So I'll drag it. Let's just keep this outside for a while. Now you can see that I definitely get 3 products. I get the chart template, I get ebook on R, and I get the startup modeling template, which are nothing but 3 products, but they are kind of concatenated with one another that you can't really make the difference from one product to the other. I should have the first product in the first row and then the next product and then the next product. Let's just see how can we do that. So as of now, what we have done is we have explored 2 parts of concatenate X function. That means the first part is nothing but the table itself that we are creating, which has 2 conditions, and the second part of the concatenate X function is the expression that we are running in that table. Now the third part is nothing but the delimiter, which we haven't explored, and it's also an optional input, so it let us go. But here we're going to write something like an enter, but we can't really type an enter, so we're going to use a unicharacter function and we're going to write 10 in that. 10 nothing means an ASCII code for enter. And once I do that, you will see that the products are now in separate rows. So chart template was obviously first product, ebook second product, startup modeling template was the third product. Obviously, if you're going to show this to someone, the next question coming to you is that, hey, can you just maybe also give me the sales of each of them? So I have ebook on R, how much was the sales for that? Template, how much was the sales for that? So on and so forth. Yeah, sure, we can do that. So I'm going to go back to my formula once again. And in this formula, you can see that this is the first part, which is nothing but my table. In this table, I'm only fetching the name of the product. What I could also do is I could also fetch the total sales from this, and I'm going to concatenate the name of the product with the total sales. But if I do that, you can see that the sales is just stuck to, the name of the product. It doesn't have any delimiter or a space. So let's just format this a little bit. So I'm just going to say that add a pipe symbol. You know what, I don't want 2 decimal places, I just want no decimal. So I'm going to use the format function and format that in no decimal place. I think this is going to work. So if I now press enter, every product is going to be a space apart, like a pipe apart, and then it's going to be in no decimal places. And if you would like to have 1 decimal, maybe you can just add like a 0.0, and I think you'll have to put that in inverted commas. Yes, now it works. All right, now we have the name of the product, the sales of the product. But if you take a look at this this output that we have created, it's still not right, because ideally speaking 13.5 is the least selling product, should come on the top, and then 22 should come, and then 78 should come. So the order should be in the order of total sales, right? So let's just explore the concatenate x function further. As of now, we have written the three functions, the three parts of concatenate x. We have the table, we have the expression which runs in every single row of the table, and we have the delimiter. Now let's just move on, and it says order by expression. How would you order the concatenation? So I'd like to order the concatenation in the order of total sales, and the order should be ascending order. These two inputs I've done. So this is the order by expression, and the order ascending or descending. I press enter. Let's just see what happens. That's exactly what I wanted. So 13.5, 22 and 78.0. And you can see in the month of April, 5 products tied up for the least 3 positions. And that's about it. That's how you kind of do a bottom N analysis. Obviously, using this pattern, you can use bottom N on a particular date, on a particular customer, on a particular product, like the way that we have done it, and regions and things like that. So you can use this pattern probably anywhere that you feel like. In case you have any questions, please feel free to put them down in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to help you out. I've also written a blog post, which I'm going to leave a link to that in the bottom section. Thank you so much for watching this, and you take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.